All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Distinguished Speaker Series. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that are joining live, welcome. And for those of you that would be watching it in the replay, put hashtag replay down below so we know that you're joining us in the replay. We're joining you after a little bit of a break in between. So welcome and Happy New Year for those of you that haven't watched anything in the new year on our YouTube channel, Accelerate Global. As you're aware, we are a personal and educational growth company that focuses on startups and profitability. Check out the details on Accelerate, ACCELERA, number 8, global.com. My favorite thing to do in all of the events and everything that I do is to bring experts and unique people, unique entrepreneurs to come and talk to you and bring their expertise to you and showcase who they are, what they do, and why is it that they do what they do, so that you can take notes from there, have an interesting insight into their life and to their journey, their entrepreneurial journey, and see if they can do it, then why not us, right? Why not you? So today it is my pleasure to bring a fellow Canadian from the other side, from the mountain time zone. His name is Ed Britton, and he comes full of stories, a bag full of stories for us, and telling us about what he does and why he does it. So thank you and welcome, Ed, to the Distinguished Speaker Series.
Oh, thank you so much. It's just wonderful to be here. I've been looking forward to this day.
Thank you for joining us live. I really appreciate it for you to take your time out and share your expertise and your knowledge with us. So truly helpful for that. Thank you. Let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about what is Not Retirement and what is it that you do, and then we'll take into your journey up to here.
Okay, sure. Well, Not Retirement is for stepping away from the job and living big. And so it's maybe I can tell you the story about
Sure.
where the name Not Retirement comes from. I like telling stories. I'm a hiker, you see, and we sit around the campfire and we just tell stories all night. So,
right. I love it. I love story brand is another thing that we teach and coach in our program. So I love it. Thank you for that.
Okay, that's right. Well, about 4 years ago, a good friend of mine who I hike with all the time, he and I planned to go on this big hike, 6 days, into a place called Mount Assiniboine National Park. And it's Mount Assiniboine is sometimes called the North American Matterhorn. So it looks like that. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, imposing mountain, but it's in the backcountry, so it takes time to get there. That's why it's 6 days. And so we hike in for 2 full days with our big pack sacks, and then we camp there. There's a base camp. So we camp at the base camp, and then we spend 2 days just, exploring and climbing mountains and stuff like that. And then we hike out the other way. We come in from the north and we leave from the south. So it's a straight through, but it's 2 days out as well. So that makes it 6 days. So, yeah. So anyway.
That's a long hike.
That's a pretty serious hike.
Yeah.
High elevation too. Pretty high elevation. So anyway, and I will get to Not Retirement. I promise. It's just I like telling hiking stories. Okay.
Sure, go for it. I can see that from we were talking earlier, and the picture you're using is literally your backyard. So if somebody who has a backyard like that, how can they not be a hiker?
Exactly. And so sure. And so we're hiking in, and it's the second day, so we're still going in, and we've gone over some pretty good terrain, and then my friend and my friend is actually 7 years older than I am, and so us 2 guys were hiking, and then there's some younger fellows coming the other way. I don't know, probably in their 30s or something like that, and of course you always stop and chat, and so we stop and chat, and they said to us,
yeah, go ahead.
"We are so impressed that the two of you are still hiking at your age. And so I didn't say anything, but I thought, well, I always hike. I mean, I've been hiking my whole life. You know, what's so special about this? I didn't say anything. So we just, and on we went. But I thought about that, and I thought, what do you mean our age? You know, and I kept thinking about it for weeks after. It was a snowy day in November. We have lots of snowy days where we live. And I was actually working. I was actually working at a community college here, doing coaching. And I thought to myself, we need a change. You know, people have to get away from the paradigm of just disengaging at a certain age. And I would like to do this kind of coaching because that's my life. That's what I do.
That was your aha moment, because for the young ones to think that, you know, it's remarkable for you to be up on the mountain.
Yeah.
Right. What were they thinking? Like you should be,
I know.
I don't know, in front of a television or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And I was wondering what to call it. And some people call it the new retirement or the next chapter or refirement. I really hate that. But and I just said to myself, it's not retirement. And I said this over and over again. It's just not retirement. That can't be what it is. And so I thought, well, then let's call it not retirement. So that's where it came from. I've been coaching for since 2009. So long time, 13 years? Yeah. And so not retirement is the last iteration of the career coaching that is sort of my field.
So is that about not retirement? Okay, so let's expand on that. So not retirement is really about not retiring post certain community accepted age bracket, or what is it specifically about, right?
Well, not retirement is a different paradigm for mid and late life. That's what it is in a nutshell. And because you see, we have this habit in our culture of disengaging at maybe 60 or 65 or something, and maybe moving away from where you live and where you've worked, maybe going down to Mexico and playing golf until you drop dead. You know, that's the paradigm.
Well, that's what my dad thought, like after retiring from his really nice job that, you know, he's spent over 40 plus years in it. That's what he will do, is play golf with his buddies and smoke cigars, right?
Yeah.
That was the thinking.
Yeah. And so the research says that kills you early. It accelerates aging. And so the Shell Oil Company about 15 years ago did a study, and they were thinking in their head that early retirement was a health benefit because it removed the stress of working for maybe 15 years if you retired when you were 60. And so they wanted to have data on this. So they took one group of people who retired when they were 50 and another group of people who retired when they were 65.
Right.
And then they compared mortality in these two groups post 65. And so who lived the longest?
I bet the one who stayed on the job till 65.
The ones who kept working. And that was just 360 degrees what they expected.
Wow.
Early retirement is not good for you. And it's not that, you know, you need to stay on the job to live longer. It's that you need to stay engaged and passionate and live a purpose-filled life.
Love that. Love that, Ed.
So that's what not retirement is.
Thank you. Now, I know you give examples of people that have done wonderful things post the socially acceptable retirement age.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Give us a few, like, you know, those who used to, I mean, I've seen people who've put their passions on the side just because they think that it's not their age anymore. Right?
Yeah.
What do you have to say to them?
Yeah. The last thing you do is put your passions on your side. I think that most people put their passions on their side so that they can earn a paycheck, so they can send their kids to college, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
once you don't need to do anymore, that's the time to reach back for your passions and bring them back into your life. And so in Not Retirement, the first thing we do is reignite people's imagination, because after you've worked 9 to 5 for decades, you know, it kind of beats up in your imagination, right? And you don't know what you want to be when you grow up anymore. So we have to get back into that mindset and say, you know, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And so the passion is critical. And we call the pursuits in Not Retirement, we actually call them passion pursuits. So it's a coined phrase that we use. Go into your imagination, we develop it, identify your passion pursuits, and live like you have never lived before. The intention is that Not Retirement passion pursuits will be the best thing you've ever done. They will surpass anything that you have previously accomplished in your life.
That's wonderful. Now, you told me a story about Diana Nyad.
Yeah, Diana Naya, an amazing story. I got lots of stories.
I would love for you to share that story
So
with the viewers. Yeah.
Diana Nyad was a world famous, world class, broke records all over the place when she was a young swimmer, you know, in her teens and in her 20s. And she was a long distance swimmer, so she would do things like swim from Bermuda back to the United States, things like that, and do it faster than anybody else had done it before, often including men, you know. And so she was that kind of a world-class swimmer. Well, when she was 29, she had this idea that she would swim from Cuba to Florida, which is over 100 miles. And so she tried it. And she didn't do it. She got really beat up. Gulf Stream and box jellyfish, which are extremely poisonous, and sharks and blah, blah, blah. And it didn't work. And so she got back from that and she said, well, I guess it's time I grew up, and hung up my bathing suit and got a real job.
Yeah.
So that's what she did. And then when she was in her late 50s, her mother died. And that set her back on her heels. That was kind of a paradigm shift for her. And she thought, I'm mortal. You know, this is going to happen to me one time. And there are things in my life that I wanted to do and I didn't, like swim from Cuba to Florida. And so she almost guiltily decided that she would do that. She started to do laps, you know, and her friends said, why are you doing laps all of a sudden, you know, in the pool? And she wouldn't tell them. She was too embarrassed. Because of the paradigm, you see, she's not supposed to do that at her age. What
socially,
are you doing?
Right, the socially acceptable paradigm. At this age,
60 years old. So she wouldn't tell anybody. She was too embarrassed, but she kept doing it. And when she was 60 years old, she tried it again. And she didn't make it. Shocker. She didn't make it. She tried 4 more times. And failed 3. And then on her 5th try, she did it. She swam from Cuba to Florida. She was 64 years old.
That's remarkable. Thank you for sharing that story. Yes, no one has ever had done that. And so it had to come from a place of passion and a dream, like a vision and a dream. Literally, you have to live it, breathe it, and feel it. And there's no age for you to accomplish it. That's just the moral of the story that I get. Like there's no such thing as. So what you're talking passionately about that. So I can tell that there, you know, that hike up the mountain 12 years ago was not your only defining moment. You're a well-traveled person, and you traveled to China. You told me once that that was a life-altering moment too. It had an impact on you. Tell me how.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was living in Xi'an, China, which is right smack in the middle of China. So that is a real backcountry experience, you know. And a friend of mine visited me in our home. We chatted, and he said to me, Ed, you would make a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you just have the right personality, outlook on life, blah, blah, blah. You'd make a good coach. I didn't even know what a coach was. Well, what's a coach? And so he was a coach. And so I attended one of his seminars
Mm-hmm.
and got certified. That this 2009, I became a what they call a certified coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to coach people who were working between North America and China,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been there for quite a while. I
No.
spent 10 years.
We have a client exactly like that. He's working between North America and China right now.
So that's what I did then. And then in a few years later, I came back. I'm in Calgary now, and continued to coach and career coaching here in Calgary. And then in the last couple of years, I have developed the Not Retirement program. I'm the author of the program, originator, and recently I've become affiliated with Ubiquity Executive Coaching, which is a leadership coaching group out of Ottawa, actually. And we're all senior coaches who coach at that level, and we have our niches. And so the post job, or the that mid late life part of a person's life is the niche that I fill.
So in your travels, in your travel to China, you've traveled all across, we're going backwards, actually, starting from what you do now to what you did before, to showcase who you are and what you do and why you do it, right? You learned a lot of languages, right? Afrikaans is one of them. A number of different. So tell us what made you who you are today, because as an entrepreneur, to do what you do, being a part of Ubiquity, and as well as creating your own program of Not Retirement, it takes a lot of resilience. It takes a lot of a certain kind of a grit that requires for you to be continuously doing what you do in order to drive the results that you want, not just for yourself, but also for your clients that are joining you, with that hope and understanding that you will bring a transformation to them.
Exactly.
So what makes you who you are, like, out of all your experiences, including your childhood, including, like, what is it that you would say your defining qualities are as an entrepreneur that you use now?
Yeah, well, it does start very early, because my father was a scout leader, and so I just kind of followed his enthusiasm for that kind of thing, and I was a Cub Scout when I was, I don't know, I think 6 years old or something, or very early age, and or maybe it was 8. Anyway, we had a little book, and the little book was full of all of these things that you had to do, get stars and badges and stuff. I got all of them from beginning to end, A to Z. And as far as I know, I was the only one in the history of that little Cub pack that ever did that. And so I've always had this desire to achieve and learn and accomplish things. And I think that's where it started. I have been a climber of mountains my whole life, and mountain climbing is a remarkably strong metaphor for achievement, because there's a goal up there, there's a magnificent goal with a reward at the top, but you really do have to stay focused on the next step, or you'll never get up there. And it's also almost, the top of a mountain is almost an unbelievable place to get when you have to walk there, because it's so far away, it's so high, it's so difficult, and it's so frankly painful. It hurts. Yeah, I get about 3/4 of the way up the mountain, and I say, I can't believe I do this for fun. It just
your knees are hurting, your shins are all, sure.
And then I'm out there the next weekend, and so Yeah, a lot of that. And when I was a little kid, I was always in the forest,
Mhm.
even at a very young age, and I never got lost. I have a I have the sense of direction like a salmon. I just home. So,
Wow.
otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here. Yeah, um, and so entrepreneurship is a little bit like that. You
Mhm.
set a distant, almost impossible looking goal, but
Mhm.
then you focus on what's ahead of you, just on the next step.
Mhm.
Be a present, be a person who lives in the present, sees the future, but lives in the present, and
Mhm.
is happy with having a plan, a map and a compass,
Mhm.
but not knowing every single step along the way and having to adjust and be agile and so on. And so, yeah, the life that I've lived growing up, even from a child until now, um, I've seen a lot of metaphor and learning that
Mhm.
helps me. And so, whatever your life or your history is, you can see the metaphor in it, and you
Mhm.
can apply it to your business development.
And you can transfer it. So as I see, you said that you do need mental strength because it sounds like an impossible
Yeah,
goal and task. And yet you said it, that's what entrepreneurs do. That's why they are the risk takers they are. And you did. And I love the fact what you bring to the table is that you can do it at any age. It's not age restrictive. It's not, there's no such thing as retirement in this process. Anything that you always set your mind to, even at this age, you can achieve it, as long as you have a goal, you have a map and a compass and a plan, and you set your sight at one
yeah.
step at a time on a continuous basis. You must have fallen on your knees a few times in this process,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, like a few times a day. And
And
when you're
yet,
on your knees, you know what you do? You pray when you're down there, right?
sure, help me
That's
back
right.
up,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But what makes you get up and go again?
You know, it's a certain brand of craziness, I think.
Mhm.
It's the same thing that that makes me get so beat up climbing a mountain on
Mhm.
Saturday, and then I'm back on the mountain on the next Saturday.
Mhm.
It's just a love for it.
Mhm.
It's the passion. It's the achieving something that is hard to do. I just actually like to do that. I
Mhm.
enjoy the pain.
But at the same time, when you achieve, you have your compass and you achieve whatever you needed to achieve, whether it's your return on investment, whether it's your clients achieving whatever they set out to do, because that's really has that kind of a adrenaline. I know in coaches, that it
Yeah,
works as a fire fuel for them to move forward with the next one.
yeah,
You still keep track of all that went well, because we always keep track of what didn't go well, right? Uh,
yeah,
Keeping track of what went well is equally important. And I know it comes handy in mountaineering as well, right? As to chart your path so that we don't make the same mistakes again. We make new
yeah,
mistakes, right?
yeah,
That's okay.
yeah.
That's normal to do that. Uh,
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I love that. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit more about the fact that you bring diversity to your profession also, the way you do from different angles. And it comes, where does it come from? How does that work and align with you in your work, line of work and business? I know you
well,
spoke about it the last time.
yeah. And so one of the things that I've done in the development of the program is I've looked at trailblazers.
Hmm.
So who has gone before and done this really well?
Hmm.
And in the trailblazers, you see so much diversity, uh, different ways that people have achieved this wonderful thing. Entrepreneurism is the same. Look at
Hmm.
all the diversity in it. It's just as wide as your imagination, and
Hmm.
so a lot of the concept of diversity comes from studying and meeting and talking to all the different kinds of people who have done this. You
Hmm.
know, One of them, for example, is Grandma Moses,
Mm-hmm.
and she's so inspiring. So we talked about Diana Nyad, the swimmer, right?
Yes.
Well,
Right.
no, Diana Nyad did that, but Anna Moses, people might know her as Grandma Moses. That was kind of her popular thing. She was
Mm-hmm.
an artist,
Mm-hmm.
and she embroidered beautiful work her whole life, like decades. That's what she
Mm-hmm.
did. And then her hands got so painful with arthritis that she wasn't able to do the embroidery anymore. And her sister suggested, no, I think it was her daughter suggested, hey, Mom, why don't you take up painting?
Mm-hmm.
And so she took up painting.
Mm-hmm.
She was 78 years old, 7, 8, when she took up painting.
Wow.
And she would paint folk art
Okay.
because she had grown up as sort of a farmhand, chore lady, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she knew. Well, she, in a very few years, was going to exhibitions all over North America and all over Europe and setting exhibition attendance records. She was that
Wow.
popular. And then, unfortunately, the arthritis got so bad in her right hand that she couldn't even paint anymore. She had to switch to her left hand. So she taught
Sure.
herself to paint with
Wow.
her left hand. Just try signing your name
The
with your
name.
your
Yeah.
hand.
Luckily, by chance, I am a southpaw. But ask me to write my name with my right hand, and
Yeah, that's
it's a
right.
disaster. Wow, you're talking about transferable skills because she was not an artist before. She was, making handicrafts and knitting and all that.
Yeah.
So talk about transferable skills in a different age bracket. Talk about excelling in whatever you do at whatever age you do, and then on top. So what? How? So tell me. Like I'm sure our audiences would love to know how. So how was she able to do this and draw this crowd sold out events?
I know. She was really world famous.
Mm-hmm.
And so Grandma Moses would see a barrier as a challenge and then step through that
Mm-hmm.
challenge with a solution. And big, difficult health obstacles. She
Mm-hmm.
had no education, virtually no education. As I say, a chore lady on a farm. She had advanced age. She had very serious arthritis. She lost her
Mm-hmm.
husband. Her husband died. Just barrier after barrier after barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the cultural paradigm of traditional retirement that said you should just sit there and knit, or
Mm-hmm.
if you can't knit, then just stare at the cat or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She had all of these barriers, and it was so I could talk about her resolute attitude and personality that I took this picture that's behind me today,
Wow.
because I was out I was out hiking this morning, just on a training hike. Didn't climb a
Mm-hmm.
mountain, but I
Mm-hmm.
do that several times a week. And I came upon this erratic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an erratic is a big boulder, huge
Mm-hmm.
boulder
Mm-hmm.
that has been brought down the mountain on a glacier, and then the glacier melted, and it left this big stone in
Mm-hmm.
a place where you wouldn't expect it to be, out in the middle of a field. That's what an erratic's called. So I came upon this huge erratic,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something interesting about this big stone.
Oh, that's remarkable. There's a pathway cut across this big stone. What an analogy. What an
Exactly. Yeah,
amazing, yeah, love it.
yeah. And so there's the obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
And this stone is, how high is it? 3, 4. Yeah, it's probably 5 meters high and 5 meters. This is a big obstacle, you know. And yet, you come upon it and think, there's no way this guy is here until the end of the earth. And yet, slowly and surely, the
Really
forces of nature has cleaved this erratic, this big stone.
amazing.
And there it
Amazing.
is. And so
What?
that to me, that's a wonderful symbol of what we do in our lives,
Mhm.
whether it's in our businesses or it's in our, in our families or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's
Please,
remarkable. I
please.
love
Yeah.
it. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that
Yeah.
and taking that picture. Really, I can hear you speak for telling your stories for until the cows come home. But unfortunately we've come to our 30 minutes that have passed so fast. I told you that we do have a lot of live viewers right now as well, and they would love to hear from you. I know you have graciously brought a free offer for our viewers, specifically for Accelerate Global viewers and members. I would like you to talk about it yourself, and we will definitely post all your links and that offer down below in our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook membership group. So please go ahead.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, this is an exclusive offer
Mhm,
for this particular event.
mhm,
I will be holding a webinar
mhm,
on March the 14th. That's a Monday,
mhm,
and it is at 5:30 Mountain Time, 7:30 Eastern Time.
mhm.
It will be an hour. Well, the presentation is an hour long, and then there's a half an hour when we just talk, right? Have fun together. And so, yeah, and you're invited to that. It'll be a Zoom presentation, and
Mhm.
would love to have you there. And for this group alone, there will also be a free half hour to hour long coaching session where I will address your not retirement in particular, and we can get into imagination and just dream about the biggest thing that you will ever do, the best thing that you will ever do in your life after you step away from the day job.
Right.
I just love talking about this and living other people's life as well. So that's the offer.
Amazing. Thank you. That's amazing offer that's valued at $500. I've posted it here as well. So thank you for doing that, especially for us. Thank you, Ed. I can't thank you enough for being a part of our Distinguished Speaker Series and being a guest, telling and connecting your stories. And really, you brought a lot of things to mind and forefront for our viewers too, on how to, what is passion, and just seeing you being all excited about it, I can tell that you're driven by that excitement of passion and you truly do what you love to do. And anybody can do it. It's just a matter of putting your mindset and your mental strength to it behind it. We all certainly need a guide, mentor, coach to show us the ropes. We all have the knowledge. It's just a matter of showing the way. So certainly Ed is there for you with his not retirement. We are here for you, Accelerate Global, with our webinar accelerator. If you're looking for startups and you're looking for profitability, if you've been in a business for less than 3 years and you're looking to accelerate your business into profitability and hire a team of people that actually do for you and do with you, find out more about us at accelerateglobal.com or join us on LinkedIn for Accelerate Global. I truly appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing another distinguished speaker soon next week, same time, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Thank you, Ed, and I'm sure we'll hear from you again for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Asma, for doing this. If people want more, they can just go to notretirement.ca,
Thank
and
you.
lots of stuff there. So it's just not retirement with a CA on the end.
All right. And we'll be posting all the links underneath. So please go to and view, if you haven't viewed it live, go and view the recording and check out Ed's links and notretirement.ca along with it. Thank you, Ed. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
day.
Thanks for everybody
Bye
coming
now.
and attending. Bye-bye.